Time now for reaction to Rishi Sunak's People's Forum from the man waiting in the political wings to topple him. It's the man who holds all the cards, apparently. It's the leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice. Well, Richard, your reaction to Rishi Sunak saying that a vote for reform would let Keir Starmer into number 10. That's a problem for you?
He was petrified, wasn't he? He wouldn't mention the name reform. He'd clearly been trained not to mention it because he knew exactly what the audience were thinking, were asking. The applause when that question was significant. Look, people are bored of hearing him bang on. He's got a plan and it's working. No, it's not working. We're not growing. He's not stopping the boats. The boat numbers are the same as they were 2 years ago. Government spending's going up. He hasn't got on top of the immigration plans. And I'm sorry to disagree with Esther, who you just had on there. She's not correct, actually, because the legal immigration numbers, they're still going up. They talk about 300,000, that coming down. At best, that'll start in March. At best. So...
and it still does mean, as she did concede, it still does mean net migration of about 400,000, which I think many people would regard as being far too high, to be fair. But with respect to Rishi Sunak, he was saying that the vote numbers are down.
But they're not down. This month, they're exactly the same as 2 years ago.
Your plan to bring them down is to turn the votes back.
Absolutely, right? Our plan. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't commit to leaving the ECHR. And the only way we'll stop the boats is to pick them up safely and take them back to France.
Will you actually do that?
Yes, because we're legally entitled to do it.
What if people die?
People are dying tragically. At the moment, the kind and compassionate thing to do is to pick people up and take them back. Remember, they're all picked up at the moment, Patrick, by Border Force at the 12-mile point and brought to Dover. The only change is you turn back to France and take them there. And we know it works because it worked in Australia.
Are you not a bit worried about the idea of this turn the boats back policy? Someone dies in the Channel and then people say, blood on your hands.
The blood is on the hands of the lawyers and the politicians who haven't got the guts to do my policy, which is why 5 people tragically have already died this year. Thousands are dying in the Med. You've got to have strong, courageous leadership, do what Australia did, and that will sort this problem. I'm the only one who's brave enough to talk about it.
The only other thing that he said that I think is massively relevant to you was about the Rwanda plan. It all ties in a little bit with what we were just talking about there. He's saying that he's adamant that it's going to work. You don't think the Rwanda plan would work?
The whole thing's a nonsense. He's wasted hundreds of millions of pounds on this ridiculous... It's not a deterrent. We know it's not a deterrent because already this year 1,500 people have come across the Channel in probably the worst month of the year, and they're dying. And people are prepared to put their lives at risk. So it's clearly not a deterrent. He's completely wrong, but he's got nothing else because he's not brave enough to do what the British people want him to do, which is to take people back to France. And it's only Reform UK that is courageous enough to do that policy.
I mean, he did talk there, didn't he, a bit about, you know, the fact that he thinks that the deal with the French is good enough, or what's happened with the returns agreement with Albania, and that's what... I mean, he has had some success.
Lovely, warm, waffly words, but where's the results? Nowhere. The same numbers are coming across, Patrick. And whether it's... And go back to the lawful numbers. They put in the policy when he was Chancellor 2 years ago that meant that the lawful numbers exploded to 1.25 million a year, a city the size of Birmingham. They caused the problem they're now trying to correct. Belatedly, too late. The British people are furious and have had enough, and that's why they're deserting them in droves.
One of the questions, we're going to have to be quite tight here, one of the questions that really did fumble him a little bit was on the vaccine issue. Now, that is an issue that's haunted you a little bit because you were quite pro-vaccine, weren't you?
I'm sorry. What I said was I was pro the choice. It's an individual choice. We were the first people to say you shouldn't be vaccinating young people or children, and here's the point. I commit, and I don't think any other party will, I commit we need an inquiry into the vaccine injuries. And that is my commitment here this evening for the first time to you. That will be in our contract with the people. There has to be an inquiry. You heard it from those gentlemen. I'm hearing it up and down the country.
So
it is a serious issue.
So, OK, just have this right. So Reform UK, if voted, will immediately have an inquest into the vaccine injured.
I'm absolutely right. We need that, and it needs to happen quickly, and there needs to be proper interim payments made to those who have been injured.